How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews, back with another one of these side-by-sides, another one of these other half side-by-sides, another one of these other half collab with coffee side-by-sides in the form of their choose one. Yeah, this is Ball or Sword over here. So you have two other half and J Wakefield base beers. They are Imperial Stouts, both of them. They're both with Mostra coffee, and one has Philippine Sitio Bellis coffee, and the other one has Panama Finca Ladera geisha coffee. Black sesame and Tahitian vanilla over here, coconut over here. So you got Imperial Stouts. They talk about no milk stout over here. So it's a base stout on both ends of things. And you're talking about on a side over here, coffee variant, the Finca Lerda, the Panama Finca Lerda geisha coffee, black sesame, Tahitian vanilla. Over here, that Mostra Philippine Sitio Bellis coffee and coconut. So figured I'd do these side by sides, and I'm really curious to see how these land. These comes courtesy of my boy. I don't know when these came out. I think these are hyper fresh, like within a month old. It comes courtesy of my boy Kyle from Brooklyn. He sent off a total of 6 other half coffeed stouts. 4 of them were their double sunsets. You go watch those reviews. Those are up already. It was 2 barrel aged Imperial Stouts with vanilla and lactose, milk sugar, and 2 of them with the exact same base, but with barrel aging and different coffee variants across the board. Wasn't a fan of those, to be perfectly honest with you. Especially with the way the coffee kind of came off on those beers. They were just so light. And really, they were similar beers. They're basically the same beer across the board completely, except all of them had coffee variants, and 2 of them happened to be barrel-aged. And there really wasn't that big of a coffee presence on any of those. So I'm kind of curious to see where these play off. Again, we're kind of dropping the milk sugar here. We're going, coconut on one end. We're going vanilla and sesame seed on the other. And we'll see what's what. So yeah, let's start. Let's start over here, because we're just going to go with the coconut. I think this might come off a little bit lighter of a beer. We'll start on this side. As far as the beers look, you have an infinitely larger head on this one. You see this one dissipated really quickly. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's kind of surprising, because one of the leading head knocker outers, because that's a thing when it comes to beer, coconut. Those oils on that coconut can really kill a head. Over here, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the sesame. Maybe it's the vanilla. I doubt it. So probably the sesame seed. There's an oil in there. They say black sesame seed, right? Yeah. So we'll see what's what. It could be even an oilier coffee, that kind of greener coffee that kind of kills that head on it. But you can see, how long this one's sticking around. It's not a big head, but it's hanging out. So let's go over here with this coffee and coconut kind of variant. Nose. There's a decent amount of fun, toasty kind of slight kind of almond joy bar kind of thing going on there, coconut wise. It's not huge in your face kind of synthetic coconut. It's got this nice little toastness, this nice kind of sweetness to it, and you get a subtle coffee component. Again, here the disappointment is these are 2 beers that are kind of hanging their hat on, a big coffee variance. Just not really getting coffee on this one all that much. You could even tell me this was a coconut vanilla Imperial Stout, and I'd be like, okay, it's got coffee, a little bit of subtle coffee vibes. It's probably coming from the malts, something along those lines. Just not really getting this kind of pop to the face that you want from these big burly Imperial Stouts that hang their hat on the coffee experience. Now let's go over to this one. You're talking about Tahitian vanilla, a little bit of sesame seed, and that coffee. You really, side by side, you really get the loss of coconut. I get a soft vanilla. I even get a soft vanilla over here. So it's not like this thing's devoid of that kind of nose, but it's a little bit more prominent over here. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I'm getting black sesame seed, because I don't know what black sesame seed smells like. It tastes like something to me. It doesn't smell like anything, so I couldn't tell you, on all honesty, what that smells like. Not that I'm getting some kind of weird thing, be like, oh, I smell something, but I can't really put my finger on it. It must be the sesame seed. No. You're really getting, again, a very, very muted, very, very small coffee, just like the one over here, but you have that vanilla just knocked up a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Done and done. I mean, again, we're working on a theme here in that these big, burly kind of imperial stouts that are really calling out and hang their head on coffee are just not delivering, at least in the nose. Let's dive into the coconut and coffee. Okay. You're definitely getting a bigger, roastier, bittering component over here. And the coconut is so killer. I mean, out of all 6 of these bottles, if I was going to pick one flavor component that really kind of turned me on the most out of all of them, and I understand it's a little bit unfair with these two because these are completely different beers than the Double Sunrise, but they kind of came out around the same time, I believe, so maybe they have a little bit in common. Are these 13% like those other ones? 14.3 on here. 14.3 on here. They're sweet. They're big. They have this kind of almost like a more sugary version of a kind of molasses kind of thing going over, like a fake molasses that you get on like a on a pancake or something like that, as opposed to real kind of molasses. Has that kind of thing going on it, but really this kind of coconut over here is absolutely fantastic. A big roasted component. I believe that is part of the coffee, but I also think it's part of the beer. A little bit of pinch of hotness in the back end. It's a sweet beer. It's very much a caramel candy-ish kind of thing going on here, like a caramel liqueur kind of coconut liqueur kind of thing going on over here. But again, the coffee, while bigger than what I got off the nose, and probably bigger than those other double sunsets, and I keep referencing them just because they're top of mind because I just did them recently. Again, very small, considering what you'd expect from like just a coffee beer in general. See if how this one fares. Cheers. I mean, you taste a stark difference between the coconut and vanilla here. This is basically all the coconut are belong to us. This is all the vanilla are belong to us. The base beer is pretty much exactly on both ends of the spectrum. That kind of caramel, vanilla liqueur, caramel coconut liqueur over here with subtle little coffee vibes to both of them. Much more bittering, much more aggressive kind of coffee over here. It's not an aggressive coffee, but it's more aggressive than over here. Done and done. Very similar, to be perfectly honest with you, compared to the other ones. Just that the coffee, again, is not the star of the show here. Reading these beers, seeing that they're introducing that Mostra coffee at the get, and kind of putting an emphasis on that at the beginning of the label, and the beginning of the description of the beer, to have it be so small and have it be so, kind of, just a 4th or 5th player in the beer is kind of disappointing. But with all that being said, coconut. I'm a sucker for coconut, so I'm getting kind of happy over here. So let me take a sip of this one before we do the little cuvee. And just with the lack of vanilla in this one, it a little more even out. It has a less cloyingly sweet than what's going on over here. Over here is very, very sweet. So let's do this little mix. Let's see what's what. Cheers. Not bad. I think the added vanilla is kind of elevates even the doesn't elevate the coconut, but pairs well with the coconut. I just like the way the coconut drinks on its own over here. So let's talk about these beers. Honestly, 3rd straight, or 6th straight if you really want to call them, because they're side by sides. Kind of disappointments. I mean, other half bottled stouts and stuff like that were kind of the first beers I've had from them. When they first came on the scene years ago, those are the beers I kind of really gravitated towards. I wasn't huge into their kind of hazy game at the get. I think they got infinitely better. They're probably one of the best in the game now. But and I've had amazing stouts from these guys since. I've had amazing barley wine. That one, what was the one? Something gold. Gold something. Oh, the beer was so good, whatever the hell it was. Oh, it was I think it was a bourbon or rum or brandy barrel aged barley wine. God, that shit was amazing. Anyway, and I've had some great stuff. It's just this last succession, this kind of shock and awe that Kyle has thrown at me with these other half beers, and just bang, 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 of really just super sweet, what I call quick, kind of candy bar beers that really. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say that sucks. Candy bar beers suck. Pastry stouts suck. That's not what I'm saying here. If you like huge, big, sweet, over the top kind of this kind of level beer, you do you. I can actually get down with the style of beer every now and then. It's not my favorite, but I can dig on them. I'm going to hang my hat on the coffee thing. Coffee beer to me, I don't want to get too cheesy, but it's kind of sacred. You're going to call out coffee in a beer and go like all in. Like if you put like Imperial Stout with this, and this, and at the end go with coffee. Okay. But if you're going to roll out the red carpet, go all pomp and circumstance and be like, we're making this beer, we're making it with these guys, it's called this, and it's just not an Imperial Stout. It's an Imperial Stout, not just with coffee, but Mostra coffee, and 2 crazy variants across the board. I want the coffee to be the start of the show. I want the beer still to be beer. These are still kind of flirting to the edge of that. They're still Imperial Stouts. Very, very sweet, super under attenuated Imperial Stouts. But they're delivering that role as far as stouts go. They're just not giving me the coffee. The coffee that should be there. And it's just echoing from those other ones. So, yeah. But we have the savior over here with that little bit of coconut throwing me a little bit of happiness my way. So there you go. Let's see. Some of the better coffee stouts I've had as of late. No. Value and availability? I don't know. Kyle, let me know what's what and leave you with, if you like what we like these beers. If you like big, huge, sweet candy bar level stouts and you like a little bit of coffee in your beer, but you don't like it to be ever present, or even like a second or third player, you want it deep down below, kind of facilitating a little bit of fun candy bar pastriness, then you'll like these beers. So there you go, another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of other half right now, or even a little bit of Jay Wakefield. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.